I can't even hold it that long.
Thanks
Good
for
morning,
coming
Jamie.
to our podcast. We're
Before we
so
went,
happy to see you.
Jamie just said before we went live, "Oh, it's not newsletter chat." Like we don't have to like be happy to be here. Oh, this is
What's
the actual work. We
no,
can be upset about it.
like John, look how you were before. Go back to that look. Okay, this is us before newsletter chat, and then that song starts, and immediately we both are like, do 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 do. Yeah, and like legit. I went back to watch newsletter chat, and for real, we're both just kind of sitting, and then immediately when that beat kicks in, we're dancing.
Oh, can you see us before? Like I
Like
started it
for a
like
split second, yeah, just like at the end, you could see us cracking up.
that is the best for sure. The best.
We're homemade.
We are. I love that we're homemade, and I love that you came up with that. You come up with all of our fun sayings.
Oh well, not all of them.
What all of your words honor Christ? That was you. That's the
That
OG
was
right there.
you, I thought.
I thought it was you. Oh,
Let's take co-credit.
okay.
Oh.
We're so creative.
Is anybody here?
Together we make a creative person.
You cannot clap with one hand, Jennifer.
That's true.
Takes two to make a thing go right. Wait, no.
Wait.
Yay! It takes two equally dorky people to not be able to high five virtually.
Right. Exactly. All right. So we have about a minute. Hello, Teresa. Hello. Do you like my British accent? I'm so good at it.
you have been very critical about yourself about British accents in the past, so I'm afraid to tell you that it's good because then you might argue with me. So
that's all I can do is the hello, mate. And they don't even say mate there. That's a
it's
Australian
sort of
thing, right?
yeah. I was gonna say, is this an exchange student from Down Under? I was wondering.
I'm like Mrs. Doubtfire when the real British guy says, "What part of England you're from?" I can't really tell from your accent. Oh, all over.
They do say mate though, don't they? I don't know, like for
There's Maria
friends.
when you need her.
My best mate. Yes, they would say that. I think.
Oh, it's 8
Oh
o'clock.
my word. Okay, time to work. Worky.
What are you working on today, Jamie?
I have nothing. I probably open up my manuscript. Yay!
Hey. I am working actually, I'm gonna do some more plotting. I feel like there is a problem with my story, and I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Like,
let's
I
talk
did
about that on the break. That sounds juicy.
yeah, I'm just killing time till I can find the timer.
Oh.
There it is. Yes, I didn't
Well.
plan on stopping right now and talking about it, but all right. 25 minutes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
All I can say is, were you on the boat when the boat tipped over?
3, 2,
Boat. I missed
1,
that.
go.
Oh, that's all she can say in a British accent. I get it. Sorry. And Maria is coming. She said she just left her stream. Is coming. Okay, let's write. Shh.
Done.
Done. That was some strange. I don't know if you looked at the visuals of that music that I chose for today, but that was some strange visuals. But it is what it is. I couldn't find the original one. There's two that I normally go with. But good morning, Melody. So glad to have you here this morning. She says she's excited to write today. I am too. You wouldn't have known that from our beginning of this. You guys go back and look at us at the beginning of this. We weren't so happy, but
I am so happy to be working on my novel that I was still going while you're like, okay, time's up, Chatty McChatterson. I'm like, oh, I got to take a break because that's part of it, isn't it, Jen?
Right. You got to stop too. I got to stand up. I got to be better about.
Tell us how the breaks are important. And good morning, Allie.
Good morning, Allie. Glad to have you here with us. Nice to meet you. Okay, so we do the Pomodoro system here, 25 minutes of focused work and then 5 minutes of break. And in that break, you got to get up and move around. Like we are tethered right now, but so at least
because we're trying to be entertaining for y'all, right? Like I would get up and go walk away. Yeah,
we're trying to.
Although my shirt just kind of fell open there. Woo! So not that kind of show.
That's a different kind of entertainment.
My husband would be like, "Why aren't you charging for that if you're going to be doing that kind of a camera?" Oh, Lindsay.
Melody says, "Thanks for the kind welcome, everyone." Aw.
Oh, and I love her name. That's a great name. I wonder, is that a nom de plume? Because it totally sounds like an author name, don't you think? Melody Archer.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Wonder what genre she writes in.
A romance.
Oh, that's a great
and so
name.
Melody, this is totally off topic. This is not newsletter chat, but are you on Story Origin or do you ever do newsletter chat or newsletter swaps? Because we just had a conversation, Jamie and I, about how you can't search for people. And after like meeting you on here, I thought, oh, I wonder, what she does. And, if we could work together, blah, blah. And that's when we discovered you can't search for authors on there. You can only search for promos.
An author profile on Story Origin? Because we could start linking that in our bios on Twitter and stuff. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Really good point. I don't know. So that's a newsletter chat topic. I should write that down before I forget. But
maybe somebody knows. Our chat is usually full of fount of knowledge kind of people.
Right.
So I don't remember. No, and we're lazy.
We're lazy.
Someone else already has the answer. We don't want to go look it up.
I'm writing this down. So, okay. So before we went to writing, I've got 2 minutes here to try to fit this in. I was telling you that I was going to be working, going deeper into my outline because I felt like there was something missing in the story that I'm working on. I couldn't sleep last night. So I started thinking about it, that it just felt, I don't know if empty is the right word. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to Avoiding Esther, and I'm making a chart. You know how I have, if you sign up for our newsletter at christianindywriters.net, you can get it's a cheat sheet for outlining romance.
It's great.
And it's just simple, but it's kind of what I use. That's the simple version of what I use. I'm going in chapter by chapter, and I did, chapter 1, and then I'm telling what happens in that chapter, and then I'm putting a generic what it is. This is where the key event is, and this is what the character does this, because I feel like it's the character arc that I'm struggling with. Normally, I will plot out, which we're going to talk about on Friday. So everyone show up Friday morning for the podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about plotting versus pantsing, and you guys know I'm team plot, but I normally don't really plot out my character arc. It's very important to me, but it's something that generally just flows from me as I'm going with the story, because I just know the characters so well, and it just kind of happens. And I feel like with this story it's not. So I'm going through and I'm looking at what worked with Esther and going over to Marjorie and Ryan's story and figuring out where the disconnect is. And I got all the way to the first disaster, and everything was lining up. Yep, this is where it flowing good. And now I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm I think this is where I'm starting to lose the characters.
Very good. See, good diagnostic of your own work. It's very hard to do.
It is. Agreed. Oh, it's 8:30. Sorry, we'll talk about this some more in a little bit, but here we go with another one. And I want to talk to everybody else. Melody says, yes, I'm on Story Origin and on BookFunnel. Good. I think we should newsletter swap. I want to be your friend. Seriously though, like if we're hanging out here and we are encouraging each other here, we should be encouraging each other on all the platforms, right? Like I want to
I'm
do
about to
some.
sing Home on the Range.
I want
Where seldom is heard
a
a
discouraging word.
discouraging word.
Let's talk about Instagram swaps too at some point, one of our breaks. Teresa
Three,
finished 2
two,
pro writing aid
one,
reports worth of edits.
go.
Ah, good job, Teresa.
Go, girls, go. And guys.
What just happened? Sorry. Don't worry, kids. I'm a professional. Three, two, one, done. I was so involved in what I was doing that I lost complete track of time. Hey, Maria. Good morning. Welcome to our sprinting. All right. Stand up.
I'm
don't want you.
sorry.
That's okay.
How long did I miss? How long have you been on break?
Just started.
Oh,
I was
good.
so into what I was doing that I missed that. Like all of a sudden, the 3, 2, 1 on my little timer scared the crap out of me. Blah! I jumped.
I knew if I could just hold on, I could make it to break time, but I was having a very I better eat something, right? So I figured if I
Mm,
got like coffee or, just a food substitute, I would be able to make it through the next sprint when I do have my scheduled little breaky poo before I go to my other office hours.
I know. I feel like I need to put a coffee pot in my office
I feel like I
so
just
that I
need to
don't have to.
mainline caffeine and then I just won't even have to like just an IV pole just sitting right next to me.
I know. I saw a meme yesterday that said, "I love coffee. I would inject it if I could." Like, I like the flavor, so I don't think I would do that, but it was just ridiculously funny because who would do that, right?
I
So
know. It's like I am not an everyday like I'm very mercurial with my temperament and stuff like that, but sometimes you just need it. Like when my hands are cold, I need something in a warm mug. Do you know what I mean? Because it
yeah.
starts to feel like the porcelain toilet bowl, your
Oh, gee.
hands. This is why I had to move out of the cold climate, you understand? And so it's so nice just to have that, it's kind of like a heating pad for your little fingies.
You'd be so miserable if you were here right now too because your blood hasn't thickened. Like,
Mm.
when you live in a cold area,
You have
then
sludgy blood.
yes. Yep. Uh, all right,
Your
good
blood is like a
morning.
Slurpee, like from 7-Eleven.
Hey, we have 2 Allies in here today. Good morning, Allie. Glad
Oh,
to have you joining us today.
look at her little emoji
Uh,
thing. That's really cute.
Maria agrees with me. She said, "But then you'd miss coffee's amazing taste." Agreed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I've read so many things about how you shouldn't have coffee. There are other things that say you can have coffee, you should. But I just don't wanna read those things. I just don't look over there.
You know
I've given
what?
up so many things in my life, I don't wanna give up coffee, so
Sometimes it's just really hard for me to find a good cup of coffee, but you can never be let down if you go to the coffee aisle at the grocery store and just smell that smell. Like you want a cup of coffee that tastes like that particular smell is just coffee aisle.
yeah.
Hmm.
I love going into there is a coffee shop in Goodrich, Michigan, if you're from this area, called A Bean to Go. There's one in Oxford too.
Like
Rad Shack,
Shadrach.
We Shack, and A Bean to Go. Best coffee ever, and I'm not just saying that 'cause they're Christian owned. Best coffee ever, and I go out and that's where I buy my coffee. So when I make coffee
Mm.
here, like, I don't even wanna go out for coffee anymore because I can make it exactly like I want with it
I
right
know
exact
the world
flavor.
has made it so easy to like treat yourself at home anymore. It's very hard to lure me out of my cozy little home now.
Um, Maria says, "Is decaf coffee a thing in the US? Quite common over here
Yes.
to then have the taste of coffee without the caffeine." Yes,
Yes.
Maria, and I've actually been half capping it. So I buy my own beans and I grind them um, fresh, which makes the house smell so good. And so I've been doing half decaffeinated and half regular coffee. And the decaffeinated kind that I use from this coffee house is a water decaffeinated, so it's very healthy for you because some decafs are not healthy for you. So yeah. So, but speaking of that, I'm out of coffee, so I'm gonna start this next sprint, run and get more coffee because 1 cup was not gonna last me 2 hours ever.
All right. And this will
And
be
then
my lasty one,
you wanna
but
talk
I'll
with us
be able to say
afterwards?
goodbye after. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
great.
For sure. See you then.
Alright.
3, 2, 1, go.
Three, two, one. Sorry, we are actually late. We actually worked long that time because I was dealing with some inappropriate comments over at Facebook.
Oh,
And yes, and at the same time, my dad called, and so I'm like, Dad, I gotta get off phone. Like, "Ugh." So really sorry about that. So, which brings up a great topic, which is not writing related. But our community is here. So, oh, good morning, Piper. Glad to see you.
yay.
Yes, better late than never. My day is not the same if I don't see you in the mornings when we're writing.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, I think I might start streaming this just to YouTube because the only thing I'm getting from our live writing streams over on Facebook is inappropriate stuff or like trolls or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to ask you, like, can you do free video streaming from like Patreon? Because if we ever got our Patreon back up and running, it could be good free content to put over there to then have people viewing us over there. But we don't
Yes,
want to lose like a YouTube. I'm saying only if
right.
it could do both.
Only if we could do Patreon. Yes, I don't know how to do Patreon and YouTube at the same time, but yeah, maybe we could find something else to do to offer over at Patreon so that it would give people like our super fans, like people that show up all the time. Would you guys be interested in extra stuff over there? Like, and then um for sure, like we're up for suggestions. So
For
like
sure.
if there's something that you guys are looking for or would like I don't know, like plotting sessions or I don't know.
Yeah, because like it's almost March, but we still don't have our business plan together. But it's only because there's so much big picture stuff that four
Yes,
people have to resolve. Like four people
yes,
all pulling in the same direction is not the same as one person making a business plan. So I think our
yes,
business plan is going to end up being for like 2021 by the time we get through it. But we have all these decisions to make. One
yes.
of
And
which is like what to do with a Patreon, and we want to do what you guys want us to do. So better for y'all to tell us.
right, because we love this community and we love being here for everybody, but it costs us money. So if we could find ways to help pay for the things that cost money for us to do this all, that would be great. So
Right. Yes.
Teresa says, I'm not getting anything done. Can't concentrate because I got good news. We'll share Friday for my WhatsApp. Oh, and tomorrow morning
Oh,
in my life. Yay.
wow. Very
And
exciting.
yeah, very exciting. But excuse me,
Cliffhanger.
Teresa. Now I
Yeah.
gotta wait till Friday because we all know. I mean, I could try to get up by 6. I could try. This morning I had a little 10-year-old crawl up in bed with me and made it very hard to get out
Aw.
of bed with her cuddles right there. But okay, so this was a very short break. I'm really sorry, but you get more writing
Yeah.
done,
I'll
right?
see you all on Friday.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks for
Happy
joining us.
trails. Yes.
Bye.
Good to see you. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Here goes our last sprint for the what's up with my hair? Last sprint for the day.
3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1. Done.
Done. So that's how you do it. That's how you get some work done, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So we haven't talked a lot with you guys about like what you're working on. So I want to hear some feedback from you guys. While you're doing that, I'm going to share screen again and show you what I've been working on because I know we haven't really been sharing numbers lately. Usually like when we're sprinting after every break during the 5-minute break, not after, during the break, we'll say like I got 600 words or I got 200 words or whatever. We haven't been doing that. And that's my fault because I'm not doing traditional writing right now. If you were with us at the beginning of the sprinting, I said that I'm taking and kind of like reverse outline, doing a deep outline to one of my old books because I feel like the book I'm working on is missing something as far as character arc goes. And I'm going to share screen on this really quick so I can explain to you guys what I mean by that. And so if you subscribe to the Christian Indie Writers podcast newsletter, you can get this. It's just a very simple thing I put together that I use. It's the 3-act structure for romance novels, and it's just very simple. It talks about the hook and inciting event, key event, the disasters. I call them disasters. Some people call them like plot points. So there's lots of different. I call them disasters because it's like should shake up their world, right? And then pinch points, all that kind of stuff. And then if you scroll down, you'll see that I take my book, Searching for Anna, and I show you each of these things in the book because my book is free if you sign up for my newsletter. So I feel like it's something I can show in common so that everyone can understand it. So anyway, and then there's blank stuff for you to fill in. So this is what I normally use. And as I was saying earlier, I don't normally go much deeper than that. I don't outline character arc because it always has just really kind of come naturally for me. But for this book I'm working on, it isn't. So I'm spending more time, and this is it over here. This is just something I threw together, and I did try to do the color so they like coordinate, so you can see like, okay, so my hook and inciting event. This is the book I've already written. It's already published. This is Avoiding Esther because I want to look and see. So in this column here, can you see my mouse? Yeah, in this column here, you can see that this is what's happening, like literally happening in the chapter. But then over here, this is what's happening like underneath it all. Like, for example, so in chapter 15, it's called The Letter. Miss Hagerman involves Esther in her concern for John after he received a letter. Esther pulls John out of the speakeasy. And then here it's where this is where the two character arcs intersect, like specifically. So this has been like kind of hard for me to actually like look at what's happening underneath my writing. It's being very like introspective and but I think I'm going to do this for a couple other of my novels just so I can see a pattern. I've been thinking about this a lot that I have like 4 novels that are partially written right now. That's ridiculous. So I need to like find out like I need a better system and I need to find out where I'm stumbling in these. And specifically the book I'm working on, the contemporary novel I'm working on right now, feels empty. And I don't know how else to describe it. And I think it's because of character arc. And so I'm doing this so that then when I've done this for at least this novel, maybe a couple others that are almost done, like Sarah's novel, which comes out this fall. That's The Little Sister. That I can go back to the novel I'm working on and maybe I can figure out what I'm struggling with, if that makes sense. So, all right, Maria says, I've written 1,400 words for my 4th historical fiction novel. I write historical too. Why can I not say the word historical without trying to say hysterical? You don't write hysterical fiction. That's probably a genre in its own, and maybe I should try it, but no. That's awesome, Maria. That's really, really good. Piper says, I've got a little over 7,000 words that I had taken out of the one I just finished. And now I'm trying to make sure it works to kick off the next book. That's a great idea. That is a really, really good idea. I've often thought that this book that I struggled with, it's coming out in May. I've taken a lot out and some of it needed to go, but some of it was good. It just was there was just too much in the book. I've often thought that maybe I would do another series of just Phoebe and Will. Like I've always thought that so romance is they meet and they fall in love. But how great would it be if I could write a series about married love that's still romantic, right? It doesn't end, right? It shouldn't. It shouldn't end after, oh, we love each other and now we're married in the end. It shouldn't end there. And so I really want to try that. So I might do that. I might take some of that stuff and do that. So let's see. Piper says, Jen, check out Story Trump Structure. I'm not even very far into it. It's been very helpful. Yeah, someone also said to me, Story, what is it that Tina uses that she started using? Yeah, those are all good, and I will look into that. It's one of those things that has just come easy to me. It's just always been there, and I know it's there. And as I'm writing, it usually just kind of pops up like, okay, it's about time that I do this, and it's about time that this character should do this, without really saying to myself, oh, that's because this is where I have a character arc pivot point. That's what I'm calling them now. It just comes to me. But I want to be able to put my books out faster. And because I have all these ones that are started, I have all these ideas that I want to do, and I want to be able to write faster. And I think that if I can come up with a better system of what I already do, then that'll help. So, but I will. Story Genius. Yes, Piper. Thank you. That's what Tina uses, a Story Genius. And I've heard it's really good. But she also spends a lot of time, and I don't want to do that. Maybe when I run out of this to-do list that I have of novels that are already lined up, maybe I should go back and do that. But I'm just kind of creating what works for me, and maybe I'll share it later. So, okay, let's see. Piper says he suggests that you need to ask what should go wrong. Yep, I do that naturally, not just what happens next. 100%. That's how I write. I write about more from the perspective of what's happening internally, and then the plot comes from that. Does that make sense? I don't start with this happens and that happens. It might look like that when you see my plot board, which we're talking about that on Friday. So make sure you guys all come and chat in on that. But it might look like that, but my writing always comes from the motivation of the characters, and the events come out of that. So Maria says, my main character, is it pronounced Imogen? Imogen? I should know this, but different main character to Daniel for my first 3 books. Oh, is that a major conflict point after discovering something? Yes. Those are the best scenes to write. Those are my favorite. And as I'm going through my story right now, the one that's already out there, I just fall in love with these characters again and the things that they went through. And I'm just oh, I get frustrated. I wrote it. And I still get can't you see what's really happening? Don't walk away from him. That kind of stuff. So Piper says this one is about writing organically. Piper says, right, I tried to use Save the Cat Writes a Novel last one and got all twisted up. I cannot use the points charts. Yeah. Or what's the one that Rhonda's mom, Rhonda and her mom have used where, the beats. No, that doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. Maria says, I've been using Romancing the Beat, Romance Story Structure by Gwen Hayes. It's been very helpful. I should check it out. If it was specific to romance, maybe I would like it. So I'm sure there's plenty of help out there of things. Oh, I pronounced Imogen right the first time. Great. I'm sure there's lots of help out there. But the thing is that I already have the secret sauce. Does that make sense? So I just but I just throw the ingredients in there and it works. I got to go back and look at the ingredients and what I did so I can recreate it faster. So Piper says, isn't it awesome how different we all are? Yes, 100%. God is so cool in how he makes us all different. Jamie and I were just having a conversation similar to this, because if you guys could only see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, we don't always get along, all of us. 100% true. It's Jamie calls us sisters. We are sisters in Christ, but sisters can get can be with each other and then be good, because there always is that common bond that you're my sister. I'm always going to love you. And that comes slowly. I'm sure if we would go back in time and watch our first few because we used to meet in person for writing group, it wasn't like that. It comes through trial and fire, right? And so but we are so different, and God has brought the 4 of us together for specific reasons. We are all 4 so different, not only in our writing but just in our way we act, and that it's helped us. I did Strength Finders a long time ago, and it's changed a lot since then. Well, not my strengths, but haven't changed, but just their system has. But having all the ladies know their strengths and me knowing each of their strengths, it's also been very helpful for us to be able to understand, oh, I get it. You're strategizing right now, and my input is struggling against your strategy. But even though we're both trying to do the same thing, so that's very cool. Maria says, it's been interesting after being from Daniel's point of view for so long to get to know Imogen's perspective and her voice. His point of view has snuck into a few scenes, though. That's funny that happens. When I'm editing, when I think that, like, I go through my first edit, I finish my novel, I'm so happy. And then I go through and find out how many chapters I switch point of view in the middle at, like, at least 3. That happens every single time. Like, how do I do this? Because you're in that character's, like, mind, and then you go on to another chapter and you start writing in the right one, but your mind is still with that other character. So yeah. Yeah, it can be a bit weird, LOL, to change our own process once we've gotten into the beat of how we work in our system of doing so. Yes, I agree 100%. Because if, let's say, for instance, I were to go to the Romancing the Beat and I were all of a sudden realize, yes, this is what I do, that would work for me if I could take that and just make sense of what I already do. But if it's a new system, at this point for me, that's not going to work for me. Other people can do that, like Tina taking story. I did it again because I keep wanting to say Story Origin, Story Genius. Her taking Story Genius has really changed the way she writes, and that worked for her. So we're all different. We all have, like, different ways of writing. We all have, otherwise we all write the same genre. How boring would that be, right? So, all right. So I'm so glad you guys were all here. It's already 10:08 and we're still hanging out. My kids are probably loving it. I hear nothing upstairs, which is probably telling me that they're not up homeschooling. They have, like, their math is online, and some of their extracurriculars, because we're not meeting in person, are online. We do like a homeschool, like a collaborative, not a collaborative, partnership, I guess is what they call it. And so they've been doing that. Their music actually is kind of online too, because we're not going in person, but we just do it through Zoom with their teachers. They have individual lessons. Anywho, but the parts that they do with me, they just work until I come upstairs, and then we'll sit down and do gather round, is what is the curriculum that we use, and other things, whatever I pull into it. But I gotta brag on my kids just for a second. Yeah, so we started our American government unit last fall, and then we had to move. Like, boom, we didn't know we were gonna have to move that fast, and then we ended up having to move. And so it kind of got sidelined, because then when were like coming up for air after the move, it was like Christmas time, and I had this Charles Dickens unit like that I wanted to do, and an Advent thing. And so we kind of went into that. And then after the first of the year, when we started the new semester, I'm like, we were going to do human body. And my youngest was like kind of freaked out. And I remember that my oldest, when she was older than this child, had trouble doing human body in school. Just very sensitive to, like, blood and that kind of stuff. And I looked through the pictures, and even though they were hand drawn, they were kind of gross looking. Like, if you just are not ready for that, you're just not ready for that. But to be honest, I just wanted to have the talk, if you know what I mean, the talk. And so I wanted to do it, but I had to pray about it, be like, okay. So then I had to order the next curriculum that I wasn't planning on doing. And so while we waited, I'm like, you know what? We didn't finish American government, so let's go back and do that. So anyways, we were wrapping up American government, and my girls had presentations to do. And they did so much better than I even expected. I had low expectations, because this unit has kind of been like, we did half of it back then, and we're kind of trying to finish it now, and life is kind of crazy. And they just did such a great job. Like, I love my girls. I love homeschooling. It's just been so good for our family. And so, yeah. All right, let's see. Teresa says, love the chat, absorbing all of it. Well, good. Apparently I want to flow out, so absorb it all. Let's see, 15:08 for me, LOL. Yeah, because oh yeah, because it's a different time for you. For us, it's still morning, so my coffee is still helping me out today. Do you guys drink coffee in the afternoon? I normally don't. If I do, for sure it's decaf, and I put my collagen in it just for, like, my skin and hair and stuff. But she said, Maria says, I'm nearly done, just as you lot are getting into the day. Right. Yeah, so I found ways that I can get back to my business. So I do my writing in the morning, and then I try to fit business in later in the day. And after I do the homeschool with my girls, I can take my laptop and sit with them while they're working, and I can do like graphics, and I can do social media and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I'm still trying to find this like vibe of how I'm gonna like how life is gonna be now that we have homeschooling in with my career. Before, when my girls went to school, um, my day was my own, basically. And so, yeah, it's a new thing, but I'm loving it. So, all right. Well, I suppose I should go up and pull them out of bed. Um, this was fun. It's always at this point on Wednesdays that I'm like, "Oh, I should do lives on Thursdays." But then Thursday morning at 7 a.m. when my alarm goes off, I'm like, no, I'm good. I still work, don't get me wrong. Every Thursday morning, I'm still doing this. I just don't do a live. I kind of feel like I just need so Monday mornings, I'm doing live sprints. Tuesday mornings, we have newsletter chat. Wednesday mornings, I'm doing live sprints. Friday mornings, I'm doing, we have the podcast. So I just need one day that I can be like not tied to being live, right? Piper says I'm going to go for a walk and intellect about my story before lunch. LOL. Have a great day. She's using her Clifton strengths. She says, LOL, you should. I know I should. Melody says, I homeschooled all our 4 children and I miss it now that they are young adults. Oh, that's what I'm afraid of. I want my kids to stop growing. I really do. I love having my kids around. When people make jokes about kids going back to school and they're like, oh, yes, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, I want them with me all the time. So. All right, ladies, I am going to get going though, because I'm kind of hungry too. So I'm going to go pull them out of bed. And Melody, I will be messaging you here in a little bit once I get my kids on the right track. Okay. And everyone, thanks for being here. I love this and I love you guys. And I will see you Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the podcast. All right. Bye, everyone.